Hey everyone, welcome to Pickleball and Beyond. My name's Ryan.
My name is Vino.
And today we are looking at the Swift Pro from Swice. So Vino, let's hear your initial thoughts on this paddle.
So, comes with a really nice case.
I will say, it's a nice added touch that it has this little extra part on top. I haven't yet to see that.
Yeah,
really nice extra touch.
Definitely a very clever idea. You can throw a ball, you can throw a phone or something like that really in there. And overall, really nicely done. Let's talk about the grip, because we have tried a couple of paddles where the grip is just okay, but this feels like a really plush grip.
I love it. It's one of my favorite grips.
Yes. It's nice when you play. And when the grip is soft, when you get hard shots, it absorbs some of that. So it adds to that functionality as well. I do like that orange kind of coloring with this carbon fiber Kevlar blend, that red. So overall, very nice. Very solidly constructed paddle. Where would you categorize this paddle?
So I would say it's an all-around paddle, right?
Yes.
I mean, I'd say it's like right in the middle as far as paddles go. Even though it's an elongated, it's smack in the middle.
Yes, and it's really nice to see some of these paddles that have this Kevlar carbon fiber surface that kind of offers both, right? The power and the control. So it definitely falls right there. So let's... I
want to jump straight into the middle, actually, about the power and control. For me, we try a lot of paddles where, you know, it's always the goal to have, like, when you activate power, to activate it, and when you hit it soft, to keep it soft. And it was almost weird, like, for myself, I noticed, like, how big of a difference it was. Like, when I activated a hard shot, it came off, you know, relatively hot. And then the soft, I was almost hitting it too soft at first because of how much power my other shots had. So that was one thing I noticed when using the paddle, was like, it seemed like a light switch between the soft shots and the harder, like, really big difference.
Yes.
Super interesting.
So yeah, it does take a little bit of getting used to, because because of that characteristic.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another paddle review. Please subscribe to the channel. It's how we keep it up and running and growing. And make sure to stay till the end of this video to hear about a giveaway.
Jumping back onto the functionality of the paddle, right? You described very well the activation of that power and the activation of the control. So let's concentrate a little bit more on the control side of it. When we played with the paddle, how did you feel the control of it was, especially starting in the kitchen?
So I think these, when there's this Kevlar mix, I think it always helps with slowing this ball down, we've noticed. And like, when you're at the kitchen, you feel that, right? It's nice. It has a really good feel to it. I mean, right? It's pretty neutral. I mean, it does feel true that, you know, it's an elongated paddle. It doesn't feel magical like it's playing like a square box. It's nothing like that. But if you're hitting it in the middle, right, it's relatively forgiving.
Yes, and I think especially when you are in the kitchen, it dwells a little bit longer. It feels a little bit more plush. That you can actually control it very nicely over the net.
It's a great way to put it. You have that little dwell.
Yes, that little bit more dwell, and I think that did play into how it spins. But let's go into resets and third shots, because one thing I felt, I don't know how you felt, was the sweet spot was a little bit centric.
Yeah, sweet spot was a little centric.
So how did you feel like the resets and the third shots were?
So that obviously will make it a little tougher. So
yes.
there's the combination of, it was a little more centric for hitting those shots to get that same power consistency. And then it also took me just a moment to adjust to after I was hitting overheads. I'm like, oh, this has so much power, and I was hitting mine a little short consistently, and it was learning to find that slight balance. But you could get over that with some.
I mean, we measured this around the 6.0. So that means, you know, with like a swing weight of about 125, it's on the higher side. It already comes at 8.1. You can play around with a little bit of weight, but it's still like, you know, it's more like it activates the power. Right? So that's something that we got to, you know, keep in mind for the type of people that would kind of prefer this. But I mean, especially a tennis background and stuff like that, where they're already used to hitting the center, this is great. Right? But if you want something that's forgiving to the edges, you might find this a little bit wanting, and you have to kind of balance it to get there. Spin.
I mean, spin was the absolute highlight on this paddle. Ridiculous. I mean,
Yes.
Both fast and slow balls we were hitting.
Yes.
From dinks, if you were putting some spin on your drops, the top spin on drives, I mean, it's
fantastic. It kind of reminded me of that Hood F Gen 3, where it got good spin, but it also took it a little bit more because there was that dwell on here. And I felt like that just gave you that extra amount of cut and spin. There's consistently great spin.
Every time.
So we have been talking a lot about the activation of power. Talk to me through that, Ryan.
So again, I'll talk about the power on the paddle as well. It's really a good characteristic in my mind to have. You want a paddle to be nice and soft when your goal is to hit it soft, right? If you're hitting a third shot drop, if you're hitting a dink, those are the two good examples. Versus when you have the chance for an overhead, sometimes really soft paddles, they're not, they don't hit hard enough to put it away, but the goal is that it'll activate that power when you want it, when you're applying a ton of power to the ball, then it'll lose some of that dwell time and just fly off the paddle. And that's that was the biggest highlight of the paddle for me. So in terms of the power that this paddle got,
the drive and the pop.
Yeah, with the drive, starting with that, I mean, they came off pretty hot, right? I mean, definitely played into that elongated shape. It came off pretty hot. And then the pop was interesting. I would say the pop was like somewhere in the middle. It wasn't too poppy. It also, it was just right in the middle.
And I think like when I think of extremely powerful paddles that have a high swing weight, you're thinking of your bread and butter filth and stuff like that. It already is at about 128. So this is around the 124, give or take 125. It's close enough, but you can still play around just that smidge more.
It makes it so like your drops are a little easier.
Yes, I think yes. Adaptability and what kind of player this would be for.
So in order to adapt to the paddle, I had to get a little used to that. It was, I noticed a drastic difference when I was hitting it soft versus hitting it hard. But after getting used to that, I think most people could use it.
You framed it really well. This is a paddle that you really need to give it a little bit of time. It takes some getting used to. We were testing quite a few paddles that day, and this was the one that it surprised us, but we had to just play with it a little bit more, understand it. We were both saying, hey, it's not making sense, get what I mean? So it's a great paddle, especially if you're coming from a tennis background, you have great drives. It's going to help you out, but just give it a little bit more time. We enjoyed it, which means we have a paddle to give away. So thank you so much for subscribing and helping us grow this channel. So we are going to give this paddle out as well. What do they need to do?
So you have to be a subscriber to the channel, drop a like on this video, and then leave a comment as well. And then we'll be picking a lucky winner to get your very own Swift Pro.
And we have released a shot. We will be announcing it on our website. We're not going to do shots anymore because lots of people have been getting comments and we don't want. So it'll be officially on our website.
We'll put a link to the website.
We'll put a link to the website. Go. There'll be an area to say past winners as well as new winners. So you will be announced there. So check the date.
So we really enjoyed trying out the Swift Pro. If you'd like to try it yourself and you're in the southern Rochester, Minnesota area, please feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to have people demo paddles and find what's right for them. Thanks for joining another paddle review, and we hope to see you again.